In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a rendering of a simple house using Google Sketchup. Begin by launching Sketchup. If you have not already done so, click on Choose Template and choose Architectural Design, Feet and Inches. Then choose Start using SketchUp. The drawing environment will now appear. There is a toolbox at the top of the screen. Choose the rectangle icon, which should be the third icon in the toolbox. As you draw the cursor into the drawing environment, you will see that it turns into a pencil with a rectangle by it. Bring the cursor down close to the person standing near the origin of the axes, then click. Now draw the cursor over to the right. You should see a rectangle appear on the XY plane. If you play with the cursor for a few seconds, you will see how the rectangle changes dimensions and that the opposite corner of the rectangle is always determined by the position of the cursor. Type in 46 feet, 30 feet. The rectangle becomes permanent and shaded dark gray. This means that the rectangle has been drawn and to precise relative coordinates. Now click on the push-pull icon at the top of the screen. It should be the 10th icon in the toolbox. The cursor now takes on the appearance of the icon. Bring the cursor down to the area within the rectangle and click. As you move your mouse upwards, the rectangle extrudes into a 3D figure known as a rectangular prism. Type in 10 feet. The rectangular prism is now 10 feet high. Now let's create the eaves. Click on the line icon in the toolbox. You will notice that the cursor turns into a pencil. Bring the cursor down to the upper left-hand corner of the front face of the house. You will probably want to zoom in using the mouse wheel. Draw the pencil down along the z-axis of the prism. A pop-out box saying On Edge should appear. Type in 8, then enter. As you move the pencil close to the endpoint of the newly created line, you will see a pop-out box saying Endpoint. The endpoint of the line will also generate a green dot. Zoom back out and draw a line from the endpoint you have just located to the point opposite on the front face of the prism. Make sure the line is red. This ensures that the line is being drawn parallel to the x-axis. Bring the red line along the front face to the opposite edge. A red dot will appear, letting you know that you have located the other end of the line correctly. Click on that red dot and the line becomes black. Click once again on the push-pull icon. Bring the cursor down to within the eave you have just created. Click inside the eave and bring the cursor to the left. The eave begins to extrude in a negative direction along the y-axis. Type 12, then enter. The eave now has a 12-inch overhang. Now we're going to repeat that process for the back side of the house. In the root menu, click on Camera, Standard Views, Back, then ISO. This gives you an isometric view of the rear of the house. Click on the line icon in the toolbox. Bring the pencil icon down to the upper left corner of the rear side of the prism. As you connect with the corner, a green dot will appear along with a flyout box saying Endpoint. Click on that dot and bring the pencil down along the edge of the prism. You will notice that a red dot appears along with a flyout saying On Edge 8. SketchUp remembers measurements and is assuming that you would like to draw a line parallel to the one you made on the front side of the house. This is a correct assumption, so click on the red dot. Click on it once again and draw a red line across the rear face of the prism until it reaches the opposite edge. Once again, a red dot appears along with a flyout saying On Edge. Click on that dot. As before, click on the push-pull icon in the toolbox and draw the cursor down to within the newly drawn eave. Click twice. Again, SketchUp has remembered a previous command and automatically extrudes the eave 12 inches. Now for the ridge. Click on the line icon in the toolbox and bring the pencil icon down to the midpoint of the left edge of the top side of the prism. A blue dot appears with a flyout saying Midpoint. Click on that blue dot and draw a red line from that point to a point along the x-axis to the opposite edge of the roof. When you connect to the opposite side, you will once again see a blue dot with its flyout. Click on that point. Now click on the Move icon in the toolbox. The Move icon is to the right of the Push-Pull icon. Now bring the cursor down to the ridge you have just drawn. The ridge line should turn blue and a red dot should appear. Click on the red dot while holding down the left mouse button and bring the line upwards. Type in 8 feet, then enter. You now have a roof with a 6/12 pitch. And there you have it. In the next lesson, we will put in windows and doors, as well as some finishes.